Hi, you're watching the Sequire Spotlight. Welcome. I'm Carmel Fisher, VP of Platform Services at Sequire Shrex, but also the host of this show that brings you all the related market news and exciting tidbits on companies that we cover. Today, we're focusing on Oncocyte. The NASDAQ ticker is OCX, and with me is CEO Ronald Andrews. Welcome.
Thanks for having me today.
Great having you. As a start to this conversation that I'm looking extremely forward to, please tell us what Oncocyte does, what the basic strategy has been to date.
Yeah, Oncocyte is a molecular diagnostics company that's really focused on using large-scale genomic data, synthesizing it down to tests that can actually help doctors predict response to either chemo, targeted therapies, or immune therapies in oncology. As well, we also have tests that then monitor for the efficacy of those drugs. So we identify non-response early so patients don't stay on a drug for a long time. So it's been a very interesting journey over the last 3 years to put the portfolio together. And we're very excited about where we are in the market today. Excellent.
Definitely a space that's worthy of all this research and development. Can you tell us a little more about how you find yourself in this sector, in this company? What draws you to this industry?
Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, actually. And I started out, have family history, as most people do. Someone in their family has cancer. It was me, it was my grandmother. And I chose to go the route of trying to do something about it after watching her suffer. And I have spent the last really 35 years finding my way through and trying to help patients that that suffer from this, deadly and now hopefully chronic disease. For me, it's just the progress we've made in the last 20 years has been phenomenal. I mean, the Human Genome Project ended in early 2000s, and we thought we were going to have cures by 2020. And what we realized from the Genome Project is that understanding the genetic profile of these tumors is really fascinating, but it doesn't solve the question of how to manage them. And so that's led us to a whole new, downstream effort in looking at, what is causing these tumors and how do we find drugs that treat them. The pharma world has spent billions and billions of dollars on drugs that target certain types of tumors and the pathways that the genetics use to drive a tumor, but that too is not solved it. And so where we've gotten recently that really keeps us very excited is the reality that your immune system sees a cancer and attacks it, but the cancer cells are very smart. And so they use the tissue repair mechanism of your immune system to really hide from your immune system. And they do what they call escape the tumor. And that's been a very exciting discovery over the last 3 or 4 years. We've been on the forefront of that discovery and have published there. We have patents there now and have been able to identify how to keep this transition from happening and therefore allowing these new genre of immune drugs to actually work for patients, to cure patients. And so, I retired for a little while and missed it and came back because we're at a very exciting time in oncology and I want to be a part of it. So
wonderful. And a great discovery there. What would you say, I've heard that you've touched on some of the challenges, but what would you say has been the biggest challenges post-COVID? Or, as you were coming out of COVID?
Yeah, I mean, for us, as you know, COVID didn't cure cancer, unfortunately. So we still had to work through the pandemic and, real testimony to my team and the lab team. I mean, they never missed a beat and we never missed a chance to turn a patient sample around despite the challenges of the pandemic. But coming out, really what we're seeing now is, patients, unfortunately, that had early stage disease were scared to go to the hospital and scared to go get treated. And so now we're seeing a transition from early stage to later stage diseases. And that's unfortunate, but it is a phenomenon in our space that's happening. And certainly, we're eager to see our industry open back up and get to full sort of operating modality so that we can see patients earlier, treat them earlier when they got a chance to cure, and not later stage when, the hope is to give them an extra year or two.
100%, yes. Could you touch on, a bit of the financials now, just to, veer the conversation in that direction? Any recent reported earnings or revenues that you can speak to?
Yeah, I mean, we're basically really early in our revenue cycle. When I stepped into the job 3 years ago, we were looking at identifying small companies that spun out of academics that had great technology, but didn't have cash. And we used our public forum to go raise money to bring these products in, put them together, and create what today is arguably the most comprehensive portfolio of precision-oriented tests to identify the key questions that physicians have to answer. Do I give chemo? Do I give a targeted drug? Do I give an immune therapy? And if I give those therapies, is it working? And so we have put those together. Obviously, the market, collapse around us over the last year has been a challenge for all of us in our industry, and our sector specifically has been hit hard. But we've raised enough money. We have cash to get us through 2023 and continue the quest we're on. And we got caught in between. We spent our development dollars. We were ready to bring products to market. The market demise happened, and so we're sitting here now with 4 major products that are going through reimbursement process to launch in the next 12 months. And so having enough cash to get those to market is really essential. So we're really early in the revenue cycle, but we're at a point where we're going to see some major inflection points in the next 4 quarters where we'll get reimbursement for our test. We'll start to launch those tests, and you'll start to see the revenue ramp. So again, very excited at where we are, but as you might imagine, the current markets don't reflect where we think the company will be in a year or so.
Correct. Trying times for everyone, I think, across the board. Yeah. Can you touch on your management team, on your board of directors, and just, kind of give us a highlight of who they are, what they bring to the table, and why we should be excited about them?
Yeah, I'm very blessed. As a leader, especially as a CEO, you're only as good as the team around you. And I've been very fortunate through the years to be able to recruit and retain some really top talent. And so we have a nice mix today at the executive staff and extended staff of folks that have been with me through a couple of companies that we've had really powerful exits from, and a new generation of leaders that have experience coming from different areas. For instance, our COO and newly announced president and COO, Gisa Paulson. Gisa, 15 years at Genentech Roche. She came from the pharma world where she ran global clinical operations for them. She then stepped out of that for a couple of years into the crazy world of molecular diagnostics, and she went to work at Exact Sciences, and then decided to come back to a smaller company, Oncocyte, and help us out. And she's just a terrific addition. We have a new CFO, Anish John. Anish has 20 plus years of financial operations in molecular diagnostics companies like PerkinElmer and Foundation Medicine, and very, very well suited to really come in and help us as we begin to launch our products and really get the operation started to help us manage our cash and make sure we manage that with good stewardship. Dr. Doug Ross, world-class MD, PhD, Chief Science Officer. Doug came out of the Stanford Genomics program and has a long history of assay development. Eki Schutz, Dr. Schutz, from an acquisition we made in Chronix last spring. Fantastic addition. We bought some patents from him that have turned into our new transplant program, but as well as it's the blood-based monitoring program. He's a world expert in blood-based monitoring for various disease states. And so he's our new chief technology officer. So all in all, we're in a really good place with a really solid team. Our board of directors is a nice mix of capital markets folks and folks from our industry that are there to help guide us as we move the company forward.
Wonderful. Thank you. What are you looking most forward to within this coming quarter?
Yeah, this coming quarter, we're really excited. We've submitted our 2 transplant monitoring assays for reimbursement. We are waiting on the final disposition of that reimbursement, and we have already launched our transplant program. One of the beauties of the molecular diagnostics world is a lot of the technologies we use to identify early onset of a new tumor and cancer in the blood also can identify organ death in a transplanted patient. And so we have pivoted a little bit because it was an adjacent market that was wide open for us. We're very excited about that market. We're very excited the next quarter to get this product launched and reimbursed. We are the only company in the industry that has a product to monitor for liver transplant. And so it's really important that these patients get these organs. It's really important that we identify early if there's going to be prospective organ death or failure so that we can do something about that, either through mediating immune suppression and or maybe even having to retransplant the patient. And so it's a very important area. It's a little pivot for us, but the market opportunity is about $2 billion across liver, heart, and kidney. And we're excited to play in that market. And we are the one company with our patent estate that can democratize it. Today, patients go to big centers or they send their blood off to get the testing. And we're able to put this into kits and actually put it in their local hospitals so that they can get real-time monitoring of their organ status. And so we're very excited about that. And that's all kicking off in third quarter. Also in third quarter, we're submitting our Determa-IO, which is our immune therapy diagnostic test for oncology, to MolDX in CMS for reimbursement. So it's a big quarter for us, and we're pretty excited about the activities ongoing so far.
Sounds like a lot of exciting developments for sure. Would you like to give us like 3 key takeaways for our investors and viewers, just to recap everything we've discussed?
Yeah, sure. I mean, bottom line is, despite the external markets, the company has progressed significantly since last year. We stand poised to launch 4 major products, all with significant high value reimbursement in the next 3 quarters. And we're very excited about that. We have enough cash to get us through 2023. So the fears of non-dilutive financing are not necessary, and something that we want to make sure investors understand. And we have some terrific partnerships in our instrument world, where we're working with Thermo Fisher and we're working with companies like Diagnostics as well as QIAGEN. And those are big global platform companies that are going to help us kit our products and expand beyond the United States. So we feel like we're really poised to take off, and we're very excited about where the company is and look forward to reporting the progress to investors over the next 2 to 3 quarters.
Excellent. And we'll definitely have a follow-up interview to make sure we get the story out. Where can our investors find more information, just to remind them?
Yeah, they can go to our website at Oncocyte. We have a very nice investor area there that they can go to, or they can reach out to our IR team through our internet, and we can respond directly. So.
Excellent. Thank you. This is Ronald Andrews, CEO of Oncocyte, the NASDAQ ticker OCX. I'm Carmel Fisher, and you're watching the Sequire Spotlight.